That was 2017. It didn't start there. Let me take you back. It usually starts when your parents think that you might be good at the sport, so they take you to the local courts to have a go. You start bad. Everyone starts bad.
What's he doing today?
See, every athlete's journey looks different, but let me draw you mine. On the horizontal axis, we have time, and on the vertical axis, we have level. These are the slow years. You're playing for fun amongst all the other sports you get to play.
Hi, Rahul!
All ready to move, get it? Good, back to the middle, recover. That's me, keep going. Yes!
Then, one day, you're playing the local comp, and some random person watching sees some potential. So your parents start entering you in some tournaments. You lose a lot, but you're getting better. Over the next few years, you start to train more. 2-3 times a week now. The wins start to accumulate. You're moving up in the world. Then you start becoming more invested in the sport, obsessing over it and your future dream. You're faced with this big crossroads though. Do I give up all my other sports just to pursue one? New levels start to get unlocked. You do well at state, but just miss out on the nationals team. Then you get a call up, not from your team, but from another state asking to fill a spot for them. You're not complaining though, you get to play your first nationals. Finally, the growth spurt happens, and you become bigger than your competitors. It doesn't last long, but it helps. You're getting faster, you're training harder. The slow years are well and truly over. Your consistent, intense training is paying off. You become one of the best in the country for your age. At this point now, everyone knows you as the tennis player. You've paid your dues at each level and climbed your way up. Here you are, traveling a lot, getting to play at an international level, whilst trying to keep up with school. The intensity and pressure of trying to do both at the highest level almost breaks you, but you stick with it. Then, it's 2020 and COVID hits. You put the rackets down to focus on school. It's not an easy decision to be done with the sport, but the right one. See, every athlete's competitive journey comes to an end in some way. The question is, what do you do next? When you dedicate your whole life to a sport and wrap your identity around it, you start to question who you really are when it's gone. I call it falling off the cliff. I sat down with an ex-professional player who found just as much success off the court as he did on.
My name is Luke Bourgeois. I'm co-founder of Voyager Tennis Academy and acting high performance director.
See, like most of us, Luke's journey started slow. It wasn't until he was 15, 16 years old when things really started to pick up, and he made a nationals final. Following this, he'd won a junior Grand Slam, and by 18 years old, begun his professional career.
Got swept up in the ride and ended up playing for 13 years, where I sort of peaked at number 262 in the world in singles and 159 in the world in dubs, and had a pretty amazing journey through that, being fortunate to be around a lot of the world's best. So I sort of transitioned across to getting coached by Tony Roach for 8 years. So I spent 3 years with Roger Federer as part of his team. So I was with him for 6 slams that he won, to the point now where I've retired at the age of 30 and transitioned across to coaching.
Following my own journey, I really wanted to understand what that transition looked like for him when he knew his competitive career was over.
Yeah, it's a pretty dark time. I always did it just because I loved it. Even the idea, I hear a lot of people that want to be professional. For me, I just got swept up in it. I didn't have a dream of playing professionally as a youngster. I just did it because I loved it. And unfortunately, my body broke down. So again, I was with my now wife. We were in Lubbock, Texas, to the point where I was in so much pain, I couldn't even carry my bags walking through the airport. It's a really hard transition. I think that's one of the things, is always having the sort of in the back of your mind, the next stage, the next chapter planned. But to me, you go from something where you're so passionate and you've got this real clear identity as well as a purpose. It's so easy to jump out of bed, whether it's at 4:30 in the morning when you have that. You take away anyone's purpose, anyone's passion, you can see how hard it is. But that's where I feel like it's really important to understand, it's to spend some time reflecting and having the clarity on what you want to do. Because again, it's so easy for us being so passionate about it. It's trying to reinvent yourself and figure out what's next. And if you can figure out what it is that you're passionate about, it makes things a hell of a lot easier.
What does that process look like to finding what you love? Because everything they know that they love is actually in the sport that now they've given up. So how would you go about finding that again?
The reason why we get so good, it's the process. You think about, for us, the education. I mean, I always sort of joke about it, even though my high school education ended in year 12, I got a PhD in tennis just through the journey. And that's where I think, if you can, it's really coming back and I guess being humble enough too to understand that you have to start at the beginning. I think that's one of the things there, is really come back, try to educate yourself as much as you can, try to surround yourself with really good people. It's really obvious for people that are successful and why. They work harder, they work smarter, they're more resilient, and they back themselves. And I think that's a big part of it too. You think of the tennis player often, I mean, it's calculated gambling. It really is. You've got to back yourself. You've got to know when to just, I guess, play it safe. You've got to know when to really back yourself. And that's where I think, if you can look at a combination of those things, anything's possible. To be that successful entrepreneur, it's finding the answer. It's finding out how things work best, because it's a lot of work. And that's one of the things, don't get me wrong, obviously there's a lot of sleepless nights, there's a lot of sacrifices, there's a lot of challenges that go with it, but I think that's where the journey's taught us that, the resilience. I mean, tennis is one of the hardest sports. You get out there to play, you might lose the toss, you might lose your serve, you might lose the set, you lose the match, but again, you keep coming back, you keep learning from it, and that makes you stronger.
So there you have it. Many of us go on these incredible journeys and don't know what to do next. But I guess reinventing yourself is about taking everything you can and being humble enough to start at the beginning again.